Welcome to another episode of How You Really Feel podcast with Jeffrey and Tiana. And we're excited to be back with you today because we've been gone for a minute, but we're back. And happy 2025.
Yes, happy 2025. Please be sure to check out some shows that we're going to be bringing to you more in 2025. Our Pop to Balloon episodes. We're going to be doing some more dating shows, some dating games, some more surprises on our platform. So please check out our shows that'll be coming out soon. Subscribe, like, follow. We really appreciate your support. And we look forward to continuing to grow with you.
Yep. So that is our How You Really Feel podcast. We have a YouTube, How You Really Feel YouTube. Then we have the How You Really Feel TikTok. We have How You Really Feel Instagram. And on the TikTok is how, H-O-W dot really dot feel, F-E-E-L. So check out How You Really Feel on all streams. Okay. Well, it's been a minute, and we always talk about the series Love is Blind. And so, of course, that's what we're going to talk about today. Love is Blind, and this is season 8? Season 8. And
I think it's 8 too long, without them mixing something up.
Okay.
Now we're in season 8. It's the same, okay, they're going to do a few shots in the pods. Then we're going to go on vacation. I mean, they changed the vacation place, but still, give us something to spice it up because it's the same thing being regurgitated. And I get it. Sometimes when you have a solid show, you're like, I don't want to mess with the formula, but I'm getting bored. Because a lot of the entertainment come from the casting. And if you don't have a good cast, I'm getting bored. And this season, I was bored. How did you feel about this season?
Okay. So, the first thing is, let me address your boredom first. And I'm just going to talk about the wine glasses or the wine goblets. And every time they're talking, they're having a conversation, somebody is drinking out of the wine goblets or they're drinking out of that gold tumbler. So if I never see one of those gold tumblers or those gold wine goblets anymore, I'll be very, very, very happy. Because that's all I see is them drinking. Even in their Christmas picture, they had the Christmas picture. Now, that's the boredom part, and that is me getting into this season. It wasn't as exciting as the other seasons. It was like, okay, I wasn't excited to see what's going to happen next. Like you were saying, a lot of it is just redundant. I think that why don't they have a Love is Blind All-Star series and just bring back some different people from Love is Blind, the ones who probably hadn't made it on the show or didn't have enough drama for them to be on the show. They could bring those back because they kind of have an idea of what's happening. Maybe they can be a little bit more interactive or have people, because everybody's seen each other now. So now it's just the voice. So you can do a Love is Blind All-Star edition. They've already seen each other. They all, supposedly, they're looking for love. And boom, that's it. That could be another change to it, but we'll get back with that. I just think the show was boring. I think that the people were boring. I think that the most dramatic parts were probably the weddings. That is the most drama that you had was at the weddings, because for sure I thought there were going to be 4 marriages at the fucking end. Do you know what I'm saying? I thought Virginia and Devin were going to get married for some reason.
I thought Virginia and Devin were going to get married too.
I thought that the Monica and Joey were going to get married because they seemed perfect. So, I mean, and do you know what I'm saying? I just thought that they were going to get married. So I did think, and then I also thought who else was going to get married? The Alex. Was it Alex and what's her name?
No, Alex didn't make it to the altar. Sarah and Ben.
Daniel and Taylor.
Oh, okay.
So they're the ones who got married. So yes, they're the ones who got married. However, so the first part of the spice for me was with Taylor. And I would have felt like a total asshole if I'm telling somebody that you've been stalking me on Instagram and you knew how I looked before I even got into the pods, and this is so creepy. I'm like thinking, as a person who would have been on the other side of it, it would have been a challenge for me to try to even get back with somebody who has accused me of something that kind of like made me feel like stalkerish. And I'm like thinking, okay, I get where you want to be cautious, but then you are making it seem like I can show you this, and then you're trying to go improve yourself. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I did. You know what I'm saying? He's like thinking, okay, well, maybe I did, but it would have been a total mistake. But then you go back to try to check the fucking receipts, girl, and you got no receipts.
It was really uncomfortable. It was awkward to watch. I couldn't tell if Daniel was desperate or just don't have like any sort of like ego, because I was like, I don't know if my ego would be able to handle something like that. You just accused me of like following you as if I came on here now to like stalk you and finally retrieve my prize. I don't think I would be able to handle something like that. So I couldn't tell if he was just desperate or he just was this like person who just is like spiritually above, like.
Right. Do you think that it's because of his disabled sister or his family being aware and understanding of different people and different things that may be happening to people? You know what I'm saying? Because remember, his sister was born blind, so he's taking care of his sister, and his sister is with him. So I don't know. Sometimes I think that people have more empathy for others. But I also think
true. That's a sweet way to think about it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But then I also think that he was desperate. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
think that having somebody with a disability and there's nothing that you can do about it, and you're knowing that for 30-something years, and then you kind of understand that, you know, sometimes people do things that they cannot help. And so you're more open for somebody else because his parents were loving. His dad was loving. They were all just so for him. And I think that that could have been a thing. And I think that he could have been like, oh, he wanted her. He wanted a relationship. So it was like, okay, this little thing, maybe it was more deeper for us than it was for him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, I don't know. But he was like, just seemed calm about it.
He did. He seems so. It was creepishly calm, though. It was just like, whatever you need, whatever time you need, whatever you need help on. Like, if you need moments to process, it was just like very over understanding, where I would have been like, I would have had a little empathy. Okay, I could see how that could be a little scary. But I would have been like, okay, but please sit in my shoes. Like, how does it feel for me to now sit here and feel like someone's trying to say that I'm like stalked them onto the show? Like, he was either like super loving, like you're saying, like super empathetic, but I think it's a little bit of both. I think because also his height. So he's probably had trouble like dating, right. and then he's meet this woman who like matches him very well, and he's like, I don't want to let something like this come in between right. someone who I think I really could spend my life with, and we really hit it off. So I could see that, where you're just like, is it worth me giving up what I think could be here to just like.
Yeah, but his height thing, I'm like, girl, you're 5'9". That's not a bad height for men. You know what I'm saying? I'm 5'9". He's saying that he's so short. You're comparing yourself to the 6 foot tall guys that are there. Yeah. And most men are not 6 foot tall. You know what I'm saying? You are an average height, and most women are not 6 feet tall. So you're an average height. So I don't understand what he's trying to search for, or saying that he's short. Yeah, you're short. When you're in a room of, if you're around basketball players, you're going to consider yourself short, even if you're 6 feet tall. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm like thinking, okay, even when they stood together, it wasn't like she was hovering over him, and she's still the same height, or basically a little bit shorter than he is. So it's not like it's not that much of a difference. But I just think that the height thing, that was one of the things that got me, because I'm like, girl, I'm 5'9", and I don't consider myself short. And he's acting like he's the shortest thing that ever walked on this earth. Like, oh, I think that, remember he also said that he had like a little glow up, that he got more attractive as he gotten older.
Oh, I must have missed that part.
And so do you think he looks like Leonardo DiCaprio?
He compared himself to Leonardo.
I am.
Oh.
That's the same thing that Almond said. I was like, this look like Leonardo could, because he looked like Leonardo DiCaprio.
I was like, is this another Megan Fox moment? Did he compare himself to Leonardo? No, oh, he okay, because I don't see it.
But I'm going to take it back, because Taylor wasn't the cat's meow. You know what I'm saying?
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't the cat's meow. And then also, she went to they said that moment was recreated. So that had happened off camera, and then the producers wanted them to come back onto the camera to do that same thing. So that had happened off camera.
I hate production.
Yeah.
I
So
hate the phony. It did feel a little like forced, and that's probably why I felt awkward. And that's probably why then he seemed so overly empathetic. It's like, if you've already run through this moment,
right.
off screen.
So
And when you
they-
come on screen, of course, then you're gonna be more like, oh, whatever you need, whatever, because you guys already processed it.
That's
That
what
makes
made
a
me
lot
think
more
about it.
sense
Yeah.
because I'm like, if someone just first approached me with that, I don't know if I could be so.
Yeah.
I can't believe. Let me be here for you.
She totally
so
said
that makes
that was
sense.
a redo.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. They so phony, these shows.
Yeah, it was a total redo.
And you could tell it was a little bit phony when the producer came out. Would you like your phone? Would you like your phone so you can look and see? I'm just like, why she ain't look and see before she came on here and did this whole drama scene? Like, it didn't seem. I'm just like, what is going on here? It's like they were trying to create drama this season because they knew it was boring. They had some boring characters on here and they wanted to try to pique interest, keep things spicy, but it just wasn't working. I was like sleeping through a lot of it. That's why I missed some.
So, do you have a favorite character of the season? You can be
Oh,
honest.
no. I
Okay.
don't think I had not a single favorite character. I mean, they were all lovely. You know, they all seemed nice in their own special way, but I didn't have anyone who I was just like, oh, I can't wait to see. Oh, I can't wait to see if they're going to get married. Like, even with Devin and Virginia, like, it was just something about even them that I just couldn't connect with, and I was
Okay.
hoping to be able to connect with them.
Yeah, so I understand. But before we get into we'll go into the couples in 1 second. So, yeah, I can understand how you mean because there was nobody that I was like looking out for or really, really feeling like special for like I have been in the past seasons, just like reaching out to look for them. I think that a couple of people were a little interesting, but it just seems like the women this season have been so messy. And also the men, there was one messy moment with the guy Alex. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Alex was messy.
And I don't understand why they did not address that in the
The
reunion.
reunion was terrible. It was terrible.
Again, it's always terrible.
It's like, why aren't y'all like asking more questions to dive more deep into
Yeah.
what happened? It would be like they just let them go back and forth, and then Vanessa and Nick is just chilling on the couch watching it all unfold, like they sitting at home.
But then
like, get involved, ask some questions.
There
Like,
was somebody asking the question, who is the one who's doing all the talking? I'm like thinking, shit, bitch, you do not run this show. But it was one, or am I losing it? But remember, they were just sitting, people were talking, they were just going back and forth, asking questions. Joey's asking questions, Monica's asking questions. And so anyway, okay, the first day that we get there, we just see, I mean, the cute couples. Let's go with, who do you want to talk about first? I have Ben. You want to look at Ben's picture? So Ben,
Ben.
the one with the dark hair, and then he ended up matching with Sarah.
Sarah.
So Ben was the Christian who had a life of entitlement, who was basically saying that, you know, he really has no cares in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't care about, he didn't say he didn't care about LGBT, but he just wasn't aware of it because he doesn't have any concern. He's not affected. He doesn't know anybody that's LGBT.
Maybe I mistook because it sounded like he said like he did, and he actually has friends who are part of that LGBTQT community.
Because remember, she was saying that she saw on the reunion, she said that she had saw one of his programs on church, and it was talking about gay and what they thought about gay religion and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he said he missed that sermon.
And he said, oh, I must have missed that sermon. But that's what I'm saying, because he said he didn't have anybody in there, so it's never affected him. So he didn't, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, I just never thought about it because no one really affects me like that, but I'm okay. But he never thought about that. He never thought about the principles of his church and what his church teaches.
Well, I don't know. That's not what I really got from him about like him kind of like ignoring what his church and it teaches. It just seemed like he was trying to express that I get spiritual healing from the church. I feel accepted. Like, this is a place where like I feel connected to people, and this is where I feel like my community is. But he seemed also open to like, hey, if you're uncomfortable or this doesn't work, I'm willing to explore other different like churches and other different ways that I can connect spiritually. Like, he seemed very open to it. It just seems like he wasn't as concerned as she was or as involved as she was in those types of like topics. And so it didn't seem like I wasn't that upset at him because he seemed very open. He seemed like he was like empathetic, but I could see how some people could say like he did also seem aloof, like kind of just like, oh, okay, whatever. It doesn't like I'm open to it. I'm willing to grow with you on this, but this is not a passion of mine. So I don't know. I didn't really like dislike him because of it. I felt like, it's hard to be honest. You're on national TV. It's hard to be honest. And those are really touchy subjects. And so imagine you're on TV and someone's dating you and they're asking you these questions and you're like, shoot, I never really thought about these things. It's never really come up for me as a problem or, but it didn't sound like he didn't have any. Because didn't he show up with his friends one time? I had her meet some friends of his that was from the community.
I don't think they were gay. But when I'm saying that, I'm not just talking about the LGBT. It's just like that was just one little part. Remember,
I know she brought up the Black Lives Matter.
And all these different principles. So I'm not just LGBT. I'm just saying, like, for me, he was just aloof to a lot of things. He was just like, okay, well, I'm just here. Ooh, like you said, I live a life of privilege, so I don't have to think about that stuff. I haven't thought about Black Lives Matter. I haven't thought about finances of anybody else's. I'm not that person who thinks about liberal shit. I'm just that person. You know what I'm saying?
But I do like that he was open because I think sometimes we could be very hard and quick to like shut people out or shun them because they didn't educate themselves on this or they're not concerned about this. But the fact that he was at least open when she did bring it to his attention, I think that's worth acknowledging as well. Because some people could have been like, yeah, that's not my thing and I'm not into it and I don't want to know no more about it. I don't think we're going to match. But he was like, okay, guide me, teach me, tell me more about it. Like,
so what do you think about Sarah then? His match?
I thought Sarah was good. I thought she was nice. Like, and I think the part I love the most about her is when in the end when she was like talking once they turned each other. I mean, when she turned him down, and she was like, "I shouldn't marry for potential. I want to marry based on what is there now." And the fact that I do see potential in him is not enough. Like the fact that he's not very strongly suited in these aspects of my life that are very important to me and my core and my family. I can't marry him just for the potential that he may grow into that. I want someone who's into that now. I respect her 100% for that because she's right. If you're so strongly this way and this person's kind of like whatever, you don't know if after some time that they're going to be as dedicated as you are to these values and principles and, so I respected her for that.
And then what about how he did her at the end? In the end of the relationship.
Oh, when they were talking about on the reunion, that one seemed a little confusing. Break that down to me because I was a little confused as to what they were really trying to say happened.
So what happened was, remember, she's an oncology nurse. And so she's a traveling oncology nurse. And so even though they had said no at the altar, they were still trying to see, work something out. But at this point, they were like, we can't get married because of just different things, right? And so then they were together. They had been hanging out together and everything and still pursuing things. And then she was getting ready to go to maybe Tennessee or I don't know, the state that she was going to for 2 months. And he was going to take a plane and go with her to that state for 2 months. And then they were going to come back and get an apartment together. And she said, so when she left, everything was good. And then once she got there, he turned off the location because he says that, oh, well, I just took it as we're breaking up, and that just and I took it as we're breaking up. And then the other girls were like, no, because she was calling and telling us what you guys were doing as it was happening. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how they ended up breaking up. Because
so what's your thoughts about that?
My thoughts are that he's shitty. I mean, imagine if we're doing something and we're thinking that everything's okay. She's thinking everything's okay. You guys have made plans for you to come and live in Tennessee with her for 2 months, and you guys can work things out because you work from home. She's talking about setting your desk up and everything, and so you guys, she's getting a desk set up so that you can come, and then she gets there, and you turn off the location the minute that she got there, and then he goes, well, I turned off the location. She was like, well, why did you turn off the location? And he said something to the fact that, oh, I just wanted to make sure that you got there okay. And then he turned it off so that she couldn't, well, friend finder or something like that. He turned it off. So
I think I remember hearing something like that. But you like it already was kind of set up to see that like Ben has this other side to him. You could see it when that woman, the whole Instagram thing came out,
Right.
and she was trashing him. So it's clear that he has other issues that didn't really get touched on. So it's
Yeah.
not like the way everybody was like, oh, he just turned off his phone. Like it shows that he has some immaturity
Correct.
about
A
him.
lot of
Like you can
immaturity.
already see that if someone's making a whole Instagram video about you and about y'all dating and there being mixed signals and he led me on or whatever the woman was saying on Instagram, like clearly this is somebody who's not that mature, and he also does stuff for certain reasons, maybe to fill his own ego. So he does have that side to him already. It wasn't that shocking that maybe something like that went down, especially because he probably had his ego bruised when she turned him down at the altar, and then was like, and he said, "Oh, I would like to still date you even after this," and she was like, I'm gonna like, I don't think this is the place to talk about it now.
Correct.
Let's.
and that's why they
it's a-
went home that
Yeah.
same day. After the camera stopped rolling, after we left, we went home and we just kept cohabitating.
Yeah.
And so we kept cohabitating, and then we were supposed to cohabitate in Tennessee, and then you didn't have to take your car, blah, 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 blah. But anyway,
It was a mess, but he was already a mess. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
He wasn't ready to be married. I don't think he was like marriage potential because I think there's still things that he does have to work on. But I just want to make sure that also like it did seem like there was some redeemable qualities there too. But he definitely was. She definitely dodged a bullet by not marrying this guy. He's not ready. He's a little immature and he's a little all over the place. And I don't think he has a good knowledge of self yet.
okay. So then what about Daniel and Taylor? So we talked about them a little bit. This is the Christmas couple. This is the one who was sitting at the table, who redid the, who recreated the scene.
What'd you think?
I think they were made for each other. Like we did talk a little bit earlier about the height thing and all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. I think they were made for each other. I think they're both kind of, I don't want to say desperate, but I think that they just were, it's a business kind of for them to be married. You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of stuff has happened in his family. So he kind of understands that, okay, it's a partnership. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said about his sister, the disability, knowing that her mom and dad have to basically be like, okay, well, you know what? Both of us are responsible for this person for the rest of her life. You get what I'm saying? It's the partnership. So even if I don't want to be with this person, well, we're going to be together because this is what we need to do to make it work. And I think that that is one of the things that he went in with. And then that's one of the things that I think that she has from her parents. Because you see, remember her dad was kind of like sick or something like that. But
Yeah.
they both seem like they have very, 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 very nice families. And I think that that was a good thing. I mean, they weren't fun, and they weren't, not say fun.
Interesting.
They weren't interesting, but they were a couple who probably was like thinking, damn, yeah, I want to find somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that that was good. Anything else you want to say about them?
No, I mean they really didn't pique my interest that much. Like it was nice. It was nice to see some good, wholesome family values. But I wasn't that enthused.
He was stalking me.
I know. After that moment, I just couldn't get back into them because I felt like also production was doing a job of not really giving you too much to try to keep you on the edge as to will they say yes or not. So I just felt like they kind of gave you very superficial shots after that. And so I was just like, I can't really get connected to this couple.
Well, let's talk about Devin, and let's talk about Devin first of all.
What you want to say about Devin? You brought him up. What you want to say about Devin?
I mean, this is neither here nor there, but his hairline was driving me crazy. Him talking about him being a basketball player and playing basketball in sports. I think a lot of times behind closed doors, when people say shit like that, they're like, oh, a basketball player, 6'2", 6'3". You think about shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And imagine, okay, did you think about that kind of stuff? That's all I'm saying. I think he was very cocky, which is, let me not say cocky. He was sure of himself, which is good. And of course, I know that people put a lot on the line to be open on the camera. You know what I'm saying? So That's it. Nothing else bad. I, yeah, that's from my first view, right?
I can see what you're saying about the hair.
Okay.
Because some did seem a little off with his
Right.
hair. I couldn't tell if it was like thinning.
It was thinning, and so you're
or-
brushing it to the front, like much
'cause
like
I
I'm
was
doing, much like I'm doing right here. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm
'cause
brushing.
I did notice that it looked a little weird.
So,
You
yeah.
could see it in some camera angles and stuff. I was like, something's a little off with his hair.
When he went to his apartment, he had all those shoes. I'm also thinking to myself like, okay, so that's what I thought about Devin, and then
Why you bring up the shoes?
just because whenever Virginia saw the shoes and she was like looking at how many pair of shoes and stuff he had and thinking to herself like, okay, I don't know how his finances looked or what he's had or accomplished, but for her to be like, okay, I see all these shoes. And sometimes when you think about that, it's like thinking, okay, girl, you have how many pair of shoes, but you don't have this or you don't have that, and your goal should be something more tangible. Not everybody thinks that way, but I'm saying like maybe.
But you could tell they were on different
Correct.
mindsets when it comes to finances.
Correct.
And I could see now that you pointed out that it was like a concern of hers. What I didn't like is that either the camera didn't show or she wasn't very vocal. And in the end, she was like, I tried to protect him or something like that. But she wasn't really voicing these concerns. Like, she'd be like, oh, you got a lot of shoes. Instead of being like, wait a minute, did you say you still got debt from school? Like, you still have debt from these other places, but yet you have a shoe collection that you probably spent thousands of dollars on that you could have paid off all this stuff on. I'm concerned because I don't think we're thinking same financially. Because my stuff is paid, because you could tell she was very well, like,
So
together.
hold on. Okay. Now, let's talk about Virginia and then go into that. So let's talk, that's her name. So Virginia,
That is
what did you think about Virginia first?
Would you want me to talk about her personality?
I mean, anything.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was sweet, but I thought it just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe her. Like,
Miss Timid, and I just don't know. And yes, I'm just a little girl who's in a woman's body, and I'm just yeah.
oh, Devin,
So
this
it
is
was.
so sweet. Like, I don't know what that was about.
She
It
just
was-
gave me this like, like even her demeanor was one of I'm so scared and I'm so shy. You know what I'm saying? So she just, even though she was talking, she gave me a shot. So now we're gonna go.
But then on the reunion, she giving you.
Baby, her hair looked great. She was, and maybe she saw herself and understood, like, damn, look at me. Why am I doing that? You know what I'm saying? Because she was like cowering the whole time. But let's talk about Brittany, the other part of their threesome, basically.
Oh, I forgot all about Brittany, the basketball.
Brittany.
I
What do you
forgot
talk about her?
I like her. I like real people. I like people who come on. You could tell they're genuinely being their authentic selves. Like, I love that. Like, she's like, this is what I am. And yeah, I used to date girls in the past, and this is how I roll. And
And why
I'm
didn't
learning.
she should have started with that, if that's authentic. Just saying.
But when you just meeting a person,
It doesn't matter. Remember, love is blind.
Aw,
Love is blind. So if she
because
had,
he didn't start talking about his drug addiction until later on. So why is it she got to come off the top with, oh yeah, I used to date women or I like women?
because I think that using Motrin is different from licking coochie. Because he wasn't on any hard drugs. He's saying he was using Motrin.
No, that's not what it sounded like to me. Because
Yeah.
what kind of confession would that be?
Yeah, it was
Like-
Motrin. It was Motrin. It wasn't any hard drugs or anything. That's why I was like thinking, girl, what are you doing all that for? Yep, roll the tape, sweetie. But it wasn't like cocaine or nothing. It was like
No,
Motrin.
I'm not saying he did cocaine, but it sounded like maybe he had opioid addiction. I don't. It didn't sound like. It sounded like he was trying to cover up what it really was. Because why would that be a big confession? Why I used to take a bunch of Motrin. If you're in a lot of pain, some people do. Some people get prescribed that much of like Motrin and stuff like that.
But
I
you can
think it's
only
more
take
than that.
you can only take so much Motrin though. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
you can only take, like, you're not supposed to take more than a certain number a day. So I don't know. I'm just saying, for me, I think that Brittany could have came out first saying that, but when she came out, when she told him, she came in and she looked super, 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 super butch. She had her jacket on. Her legs were open. She had balls that day. She was like, come on now, dude. It was, to me, the real side of her came out that moment. even though she had been in there, I thought that was the most realist that she was when she came out and told him, well, you know, yeah, I mean, I can't tell you what I might do, but yeah, I messed with women before. I mean, and I just love who I love. I'm like thinking, okay, who doesn't love who they love? But you're not saying that you'll never, ever have that feeling coming back. You're not saying that that might not be a way that you would do. And I don't think that I think that she was, the anger and the upset that she had or disappointment that she had toward Devin, I don't think it was founded, because he could have feelings too. Like, hello. Yeah, I just don't think that.
I think it was more in herself. I think sometimes, she didn't really know. Because you could tell, first of all, she's confessing this in front of, and she may have not even told some people in her friendship group, family. Like, you don't know how many people she may have told or not told.
Know.
But you could just, like, that's just like a dating. When you're dating someone, you could show up to the first date. Yeah. I've been dating some girls. I'm into girls. Like, you take time to, like, get more comfortable with sharing something like that. I don't think it was, like, odd. What it was, I could tell it was, like, a character switch. Like, she became more bold. Like, this is who I am. This is what I do. But I think when you're dating, you trying to woo the other person. So people do put on these facades like, oh, I'm so prissy, and oh, like.
But imagine her being prissy in that facade, and she don't have to because he can't even see her. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but he could see. I think she was trying to invoke it through her voice, and because that's why. Then in the next one, it's just like, yeah. So I do see some people, and then I don't understand why you acting like this.
Right, and you saw that switch up.
Yeah, but I think it's also because when he wasn't very receptive to her being with women in the past, I think it brought out some of her own insecurities. And then I think that's when she became guarded. And that's when she then became a little bit more assertive in her vocalization and stuff. Because I think it seemed like it was like she's had insecurities about it for a while. And then she was sharing this thing on national TV.
I don't think she's insecure at all about that. I think that what happened was she realized that, damn, he might actually go for me. And what if he goes for me? I can't keep this facade up for very long. So let me go ahead and just let him know, blah, 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 blah.
So what you think? She just was on there for TV?
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't think she was on there to really find nobody?
No.
She barely had any camera time. So she thought she was going to get big off of that?
There were like 8 other people who didn't have 0 camera time that was on the season. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have this whole cast of people, and there are like 2 other black girls on there that weren't even, they have the pictures, but they don't have them as didn't have much drama. Right. So I'm saying, like, for me, I think that this was like my opportunity to be on television. Shit, they picked me, I might as well go. I mean, I can reveal that. But I just think that, yeah.
Maybe.
I think that it was a moment for television for her.
Maybe. Yeah.
So then that was the Love and Basketball. What do you think at the altar?
So at the altar, I'm going to have to tell you, I did not have a good opinion of Virginia when it came to the altar time. Because it just seemed like she shocked everybody, not just him and his family. It seemed like some people from her side seemed a little shocked. So how is it that you getting all the way up to wedding day? And she seemed very certain. You know, some people look like they were still a little hesitant, trying to decide whether I'm going to get married or not. But she seemed very certain, I'm not marrying this man. But somehow it didn't get communicated to some people because they was all like, what? I'm like, bro, like, did you see her father? He was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting this. Like, he was going over hugging Devin's side of the family. I'm sorry that this happened. He seemed very remorseful for this thing, like almost like he was caught off guard too. So I don't know. What's your thoughts?
My thought is that I didn't think they were going to make a good couple anyway. I think that maybe she dodged a bullet. I think that they're 2 different people. I think that she's a little bit more mature than he is. I think that just overall, the couple itself was, I'm not saying that he wasn't, that they looks, I'm not saying it was a look thing. I was saying it's an energy thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, his energy kind of is a different energy. It's not a bad energy at all. It's a great, you know what I'm saying? And her energy is like a little, and he's like one of those, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. He's happy. Whatever he's doing. Yeah, and I did feel sad for him because I was like thinking, damn. But then I'm like thinking, okay, Virginia, he needed somebody who had a little bit more gusto behind him anyway. And I don't think you had the gusto behind you. I think that he really didn't want to sign the prenup, and I think that you thinking that he's not going to sign the prenup was going to be that thing.
You're out.
Right. And so I think that you were like, okay. And then when he was like, yeah, I'm going to sign it, I think you were like thinking, fuck, because she evidently she's a lawyer as well. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I didn't
so
know
that
that.
was her. She's a lawyer. And then she does, I forgot what else. There is a healthcare. She does healthcare sales or recruiting, but she's a lawyer. So
She was one of the people who, like, you was thinking about Brittany, I was thinking about Virginia. You trying to soak up airtime.
I can see that too.
Because to me, it didn't make no sense. Like, I felt like how you felt. You must have felt like you didn't want this man for a very long time.
Yeah.
It wasn't like something that hit you all of a sudden at the end, like, oh my gosh, we're not matching. It seemed like something you dragged out and you kept playing along and playing up so that you can get to the altar moment. Because for her to say, oh, I did all of this out of protection for him, I didn't want to speak on some of these things, to me, I'm just like, well, now you airing out his dirty laundry. Like, you don't give a darn about this man or his image. So how you go and flip a switch where you 360 in it? No, I think you wanted your airtime, and the way she showed up at that reunion, like
Gorgeous.
she was ready to be like the star of the show. To me, I was
She
just
was
like,
gorgeous.
this is like a whole new character switch. This is somebody who I was like, who is this woman? Like,
she was so, I love that.
she
got
looked
her
gorgeous,
haircut.
yeah. But it was just like a whole new person, like a whole new personality. She was up there just like gunning for the man, like. And then what about that check, ma'am? Y'all didn't talk about this off screen about this check thing. And he was like, yeah, I was gonna tell you about the check after we got married. I was gonna tell you that so and so gave me the check, and I'm thinking like his mom had already told you about the check. So what makes you think that the check was never gonna come into discussion? Like,
I think that when you're starting in a relationship, you want the trust thing. So it's just like, I mean, not saying that he had to or whatever. I can understand saying, oh, I was going to tell you after we got married. You know what I'm saying? I was going to tell you, hey, look what somebody gave me. I can understand that. But then I also, on her side, she was like saying, oh, well, that's trust. Yet another thing to put on the reason that I'm not. It's like you're building and you're stacking up reasons not to marry him. Not saying that it was right, but I'm saying like I think that for her, she's using it as, let me just, oh yeah, and then what about the check? And then what about this? Our family values just don't add up, and I have different religions and stuff in my family.
and I'm thinking like you already knew that, sis. Like you knew that for a long time. I feel like you did. She was writing the list, checking it twice like Santa Claus, and then when the time came, whoosh,
I didn't see
these
passion.
are all the reasons you
I didn't see
didn't.
passion. I think that it was like some of those girls just wanted to get married to be along and be a part of the show. I think that I don't know how much
Right.
the show pays them for. If you get to the end, you'll get this amount of money. If you make
Right.
it halfway, you'll get this amount of money. If we're showing you, so I don't know. But
It definitely seemed like she dragged that on because I was like the fact that nobody was to wiser. Like you could tell Devin was really like, huh?
he cried.
Yeah. And she's all like, yeah, and the reason why I decided not to marry him was, like, you know, in my culture, like, we just try to protect the men, and I think I was just doing what my culture has taught me. But by the way, this man is a stealer, like, he steals money. Also, he just doesn't believe in the same things I believe in. Like, he doesn't have the same value. I'm like, now you dogging a man, like, he a stranger on the street. Like, how do you do such a 360? Like, the man has, like, purpose. And then, remember at the reunion, she trying to bring up, oh, well, then the night before the wedding, I saw a letter from his ex on the nightstand that she gave him. And he was like,
Right.
you met her. This is somebody that I dated. You met her. Oh, well, I met her, but
In
he
elementary school.
Right.
I think, or middle school.
Right. Oh, yeah, I met her, but, you know, and I'm just like, girl, you just trying to come up with anything so you could feel vindicated for the way you behaved at that wedding. It gave me moments like the one lady who gave that whole speech at the wedding in that one season, and she was like, and you never respected me, and I deserve better. Remember the one who gave the whole speech? Like, that's the vibe she gave me. Like, you just showed up so you could just, like, embarrass the man and walk off. Like, I didn't like it.
Gagging. I was gagging. Okay. And then let's talk about who do we have? I have Meg and Mason.
Joey? Oh, Oh, Meg and Mason.
So Megan
who
Mason,
didn't even make it
who
to
did
the
not make it,
engagement.
yeah, but then they started dating afterwards, and then they were a little cute little couple thing. You know, even when at the reunion they were together, but they're not together, but they still look very cute.
Cute.
Yeah,
They had each other back.
and Meg was Meg was a perfect person for Love Is Blind. Like, you know, her energy,
Yeah.
everything that she was given was totally perfect. She wasn't being. I mean, she just appeared to really be there for love. You know what I'm saying? So that's Megan Mason, and because Mason was a pretty good guy, but Mason had been dropped because of Madison. Remember?
Yeah.
And so Madison dated Alex. Yeah, Madison dated Alex, and she dated Mason. And so, no, Madison, then it was Alex and Mason. And remember when
I
Alex
remember.
went back to the room, and he was knowing that that Madison liked Alex and him, right?
He was shady.
He was a very shady character. Oh, just listening, and the
Very
boys
petty.
like thinking, "Oh shit, is this really fucking happening?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Devin them
and like giving him a
feeling-
hug or pretending like he's like supporting him, and then meanwhile,
knowing-
this is still your girl.
Yeah, knowing. I mean, it wasn't stealing his girl, but just knowing that he was the other person that was involved. And I'm like thinking, why would you be that?
And he knew he was the number one.
Right.
He
And
knew
so
that
it was
like,
like- he was like, oh
you
my
about
gosh.
to get dumped.
And
Like
you out talking to all the guys, and then I'm like, even the guys that were in on it, it's like thinking, okay. They're sitting there, and it's like to see the guy come in, and they're like, hey, dude, you good? Hey, if you need anything, bro, I'm here for you. If you want to talk, I'm here for you. I'm like thinking, wow, that was a nice shady moment. That was like a good shady moment that they could have played in on a little bit if they wanted a little bit more drama. You know what I'm saying? So Madison and Meg, and then Madison, what did you think about? Okay,
those receipts that Madison brought out at the reunion, those non-thrilling receipts.
correct.
Let me pull this from my, and then right here he texts smiley face. Am I supposed to be?
Crickets.
Right, am I
Crickets.
It's like, girl, this does not prove anything. And I have more receipts, but I didn't have enough space in my bra. No, you didn't have more receipts
But-
because you got a whole nother side of bra that you could have put some receipts.
Right. And then you think about it like this. We can joke and talk about people all the time as if we're liking each other and just make jokes and just saying stuff. That doesn't mean that we really believe this about the character. I'm talking about Devin's hair. That doesn't make him a bad person. It's a joke. It is us doing something. And so him joking and you trying to bring it back and say, well, he said this and he said that. Well, Madison, if you could see yourself back and you saw that you talked to Alex, and for Alex, you were a totally different character. And for Mason, you were a totally different character. Now, Meg, did Meg talk to, okay, so one of them was Megan. Megan wasn't talking super sexy all the time, was she, to
No.
Mason? It was Molly that was talking about sex
Oh yeah, but she was
Constantly.
talking to the other guy.
to
she
David.
Was, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I just thought that was such a funny thing, and that Madison, she seemed like she was a toxic person. She seemed like she had lots of issues when she was talking to Alex. I think Alex dodged a bullet. When she was talking to Mason, she was a fun party girl and blah 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 blah. But when she was talking to Alex, it was like, well, if I get in this moment, you gotta like. And so it was almost like she was trying to guilt him into loving her, and almost saying, well, if you don't care about me, and every time he was about ready to go, she was always pulling him back in with something different. Well, that's just not how I act. That's not me. I'm just expressing. I'm like, girl, there is something wrong with you. And she was just a a devious person. She was an evil, devil. She was just such an evil person. And I'm just like, girl, even at the reunion, you have attitude. And so you're coming at the reunion with attitude because you already know that they're going to try to come at you. So let me come at this different angle. So let me come with the thing that, and you just said this and you didn't. I'm just like thinking, okay, the reunion was probably the juiciest part of the entire season, if it was any juice at all. You know what I'm saying? There was, and the top 5 during the reunion was probably the juiciest part of the whole series. Remember the top 5?
I don't know. I disagree with the whole top 5. Even though I love that they put the Megan Fox moment and then
That was my favorite. That should have been number motherfucking 1.
what ended up winning number 1? I can't remember. But I was like, oh, they chose. Oh, when she said you better get that EpiPen. Okay, that was a good
that was
number
number
1.
2.
No, that was number 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember what number 1
Oh,
was.
what? No, that was. You're right.
Okay.
The EpiPen was number 1, and then the Megan Fox was number 2.
Yeah.
So the EpiPen was my number 1 moment. You're right. And then the Megan Fox when he was like, "Oh my gosh, I look like Megan Fox," but the EpiPen was my fucking favorite. Bitch, remember when that came out? How we kept saying, "Bitch,
you're gonna need your EpiPen when you see me." It was an iconic moment.
You always remember that. That's
it
gonna
was
be on
iconic.
RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah,
One day.
you gonna need an EpiPen.
You're gonna need your EpiPen when you see me, because I'm like, bitch, you better get that EpiPen out.
So I did like the top 5 moments. Some of them I was like, I don't know how I made it in the top 5, but some of them I really liked. I like the Lauren and Cameron moments.
Which one was the Lauren and Cameron moment?
They must have been number 3 or something. Then, if you're saying number 2 was
Okay,
her
so what
talking
was
about
the
Megan
Lauren
Fox.
and Cameron moment?
Just them seeing each other. When the first reveal, and then she came
They
and
kept
kissed
kissing
him.
and kept kissing.
Yeah,
and kept
she
kissing. Girl,
was like-
that shouldn't have been there. Just saying.
I mean, but it was the first ever like favorited couple from Love Is Blind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so not the moment itself was like wow, but it was just
Right.
the flashback of like this is one of the first favorited couples from
Okay.
Love Is
And
Blind.
then what was number 4 or number 4 and 5? Do you remember? No.
I can't remember some of them. Yeah.
So moving right along.
Right. That's why I was like, some of them I was like, we don't need this.
So we're gonna
But
Daniel and Taylor.
Zane, oh no, we talked about them already. But you know what? To bring it back to the whole Mason and Meg, I think they were like super cute. I liked how she had his back during the reunion, and she was like serving it to the other girl, and I love that because sometimes I think like as women we be like, oh, I gotta like have my girl back, I gotta. Oh no, you don't come at the women, and I like how she was like, no, here's your boo boo, and now own it, like. Don't try to make it all about everybody else and their dirt, because she was trying to like talk about the other guy. Oh, he talk about y'all behind y'all back, and I don't know how y'all could even be friends. It's like, girl, don't we all talk about each other behind our backs?
Exactly. And then she was also like, you know what, we're not together, but don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not together, but I'm still not just gonna let you go and try to bash somebody just because you're angry and upset. But like I said, that was her moment. She didn't want anybody to attack her, so she wanted to come in super fierce attacking.
Super fierce. Yeah. So the non-existent couple, because they were kind of boring.
Joey and Monica.
Yeah,
The
they were
long hair.
boring.
Ugh. Just him laughing all the time, and just like it was like he was not serious the whole time.
You could tell he was faking the
It
funk
was
the
like he was not
whole
serious.
time.
But
he
Monica's
just
so
seemed
cute.
so disconnected, just like
Yeah, it was like
he be at the dates, like she talking.
I like when they did the little dancing moment with the family. That was
That was cute with the instruments. I
yeah.
felt like her family tried so much, and then he tried to put it off on the family. Oh, well, I think, we didn't work out because her sister wasn't, welcoming to me. And I'm like, no, that's not it.
Her sister could see
She
through.
could see through
Right.
it. Yeah. She was like, he's doing everything to put on this show. And at first I thought, man, the sister's coming on strong. Like, why are you coming on this strong?
Mm-hmm.
But then when you look back at the clips, you're like, oh, the sister could see what the cameras were trying not to show us this whole
Mm-hmm. Right.
time, which is like he was never invested. Like he was just going along with the flow. And you could tell in the end, she, like, even though Monica could feel it, like he didn't say he loved me.
Right.
He wasn't really giving me any affection. I shouldn't have to ask for somebody to give me affection.
okay. Right.
And I was like,
she was cute, very nice looking.
Yes.
Her sister was nice looking. You see, her mom was nice looking. So it's like, okay, girl, she's gonna be good as she gets older. And as you see the audience, his sister in the audience giving all these little stupid ass smart smile, and it's like, girl, your brother is on a show. He's a grown motherfucking man. You're the smallest sister is giving most of the attitude to the girl when she's talking. That has nothing to do with you. And your brother was a douchebag.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you're giggling with your friends and stuff. It just seems like this whole motherfucking show was just for people who've seen it forever, and I just want to be on it.
I
You
just
know what
want to
I'm
be on. It did. It felt very fake.
saying? We know we don't have to get married for real. We know that.
Right. We could just go.
Yeah, we go to the altar. And
Convince somebody to say yes so we can go to the next phase. And then, yeah.
Rock it out, dude.
Yeah, and he was not attractive.
I mean, nobody was fucking, really. They didn't
No.
really, nobody's having sex.
And that's how you knew something was a little off, because usually in every season you be hearing about the sex capades, and in this one it was just like, oh, are you?
Speaking of sexcapades, David and Lauren, remember him whenever they met up with the couples? Well, first of all, let's go back to the pods with David and Lauren and Molly.
I could. Okay, now you took me back. Okay,
You know who I'm talking about?
yeah.
Okay. So David was a narcissistic person whose sister held his penis for him and allowed him to unzip his pants and zip his pants up. I think he used his sister as an excuse for every fucking thing. Well, yeah, if my sister wants to meet you, then, if my sister doesn't want to meet you, it's all about my sister. It's my sister. She says this, it's my sister. I'm like, if you really like somebody, it doesn't matter what the fuck your sister says. Does your sister hold your pocketbook? Does your sister hold your money? Are you under a trust fund and your sister has to hold it and you're not supposed to do anything unless your sister approves of who you're dating? There has to be something that you keep mentioning your motherfucking sister. It's all about your sister. So then,
That was weird.
then you're in the pod and you're talking to Molly and you and Molly are talking about sex. Nothing but sex the whole motherfucking time. Just straight sex. And then Lauren comes in and Lauren knows that Molly's talking to you, but Molly doesn't know that Lauren's talking to you. And Lauren is manipulating right behind the scenes, saying, you need to do this, you need to give me an ultimatum and blah, 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 blah. And so that made me not really care for her.
Yeah, me neither.
Because you're mad and you guys are on a dating show and you know that these people haven't seen him, they can't touch him, they can't have any contact with him. Yes, they're dating and everything, but this is a part of the process, right? And then you go and you're trying to destroy her, destroy him, and then you're like being irritated because you can hear her laughing and giggling, but girl, that's the part of the show. If sometimes when you don't want to know something, well, if you start searching for something and you get it, then that's what you get. That's what you deserve. So every time Molly came in, you were just pissed off and just hurt. I hated Molly bangs, though. I hated those fucking bangs. But, she just, I think that was very wrong of what she did to Molly. I did not like David at all. I did not like Lauren because Lauren was like, she was just she gave you resting bitch face the whole time. She gave you, well, I'm this and I'm that. I'm not going to, and I'm a school teacher. But David, once again, gave me, what was the guy last season that had the Rolex watch?
Oh, I think Leo.
Right. So remember Leo and that girl, they left
Yeah.
and then they went and did their own thing again. So I thought she was trying to do the same exact thing because when you hear about those narcissistic guys in her mind, oh, this guy has money and I'm going to try to stay there. Because of course you want to find something, not everybody, but it's almost like, I think he has wealth. Because if somebody keeps telling you, well, I have to be careful because everybody, I don't know if people are offering me for my money. So when finally hears that, it's like, oh, click, click, click. Lauren didn't look for anybody else. I knew you were my person because he mentioned money.
Oh, that must have been the part I fell asleep on. I didn't hear him mention any money.
I mean, when I say money, he's mentioned, I want people to like me for me. And and a lot of times people are attracted to me because of what I have. And I don't want anybody to take my wealth. So they're not mentioning money, but they're saying like, oh,
kind of alluding to it.
I've
Okay.
had money in the past. I've had issues with girls and I don't know if they like me for me or my money. So when you keep saying that and just worried about my future and my sister and my 401, not my 401k, my, what do you call that you get every month that people have my,
An allowance?
yeah, but they have their, they get an allowance, but then it's like, okay, when you mature, you'll get a certain,
Oh, from like the trust or something?
yeah,
Okay.
a trust fund. I'm a trust fund baby. So he was giving me, I'm a trust fund baby. He was very wishy-washy. He did not know what he wanted. I knew from the very beginning that he was not going to get married to anybody. It's like, let me find something I can attach myself to. Well, I don't know. This guy is telling you about that you had sex before you came here. Stop. What do you think about that?
I mean, it was kind of like Virginia. You're looking for an out. Like, he's looking for an out. He's been wanting an out. Like, he's not interested in marrying this person. And so when the whole thing came about with her seeing some guy, it was kind of clear that it wasn't anything serious. That it seems silly. Like, you're adults. Like, this stuff happened in adult relationships. Sometimes you have situationships. Sometimes you just have friends with benefits. Sometimes you just see, like, she's an adult. Like, that would be weird for you to be like so thrown off. Now, I can see if you felt a little weird because it's somebody you know, and you're like, ooh, we messing with the same girl,
Right.
same girl. Like,
But it wasn't somebody that he knows. It's somebody that his friends know.
yeah.
So it wasn't like it was his best friend. It wasn't like it was somebody in his friend group. It was his people in his friend group happened to know the guy. But then it was like the guy was pursuing you guys. You weren't pursuing him. You know what I'm saying? And so then you're just making it, oh, well, you just came a week ago. How to know? You're not telling me the truth. How am I supposed to know that you had sex with this guy? How am I supposed to know? I'm like, girl, just do me a favor. Get out of there. Stop fucking sucking on that cup. Not cock, but they had those cups. His lips were done. It was like, girl, you got more plastic surgery than the women that you're trying to give plastic surgery injections to. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, his lips in the center was like, okay, you don't think we know that that's not the way that your lips are supposed to be? Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, girl, your forehead ain't moving. I'm just looking at all these people, and I'm like thinking, y'all are not even 30-something years old. And you guys have all this Botox and shit like that. But it was like, he was just there on the show. I don't know. Just
and
to be
then
seen.
for him to end to be like, oh, my sister, she was worried that I'll come on the show and look bad. You already know you were going to come on the show look bad. Like, you started off bad, just talking about yourself the entire time, all the women you ghosted and all these fine women you used to be with. And then you would think, like, when they got to that moment where they played the little dunking game where she had to hit the thing and he gets dunked. And he took off his shirt. I said, "Oh, we about to see what all this talk is about." And he took that shirt off, and I was just like, "Okay."
Exactly, girl.
Are you seeing somebody different in the mirror than we seeing? Like, cause you really talked yourself up. Like,
Yeah.
it was kind of strange, but it just goes to show you what type of people you get on those types of shows, especially with it being on for so long, it having such a popularity that it does. It's gonna attract these types of people.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because I can feel some people are coming on there hoping to find somebody, and some people are just coming on there and let me get this fame. And the fact that casting can't seem to discern between the two it's a lack of research. Like, you're not putting in the effort because some of these people, some of this stuff was found just on Instagram. You telling me you couldn't have found they effed over some woman, like, on it, like, so much stuff now is on social media. You just not doing the due diligence. You just want drama. And unfortunately, the drama this season fell flat.
Okay, I agree. So we went to the reunion. The reunion was okay, mediocre. We talked about the reunions. I think the cutest person at the reunion, of course, I'm going to say was Virginia.
I mean, she slayed. Her outfit,
Yeah.
her attitude, not so great, but her outfit, her hair, her face, slayed. She
But
was
I like
gorgeous.
that she became more assertive than she had been the entire fucking season. She gave me more assertiveness in the reunion than she did in the entire season.
But she should have been there the whole time. To me,
Understand.
it just seemed fake. You
Because
just,
when she did that, that's how you should have approached him the whole time.
The
Do you know
whole
what I'm saying?
time.
The whole time. You should have been, boom, just, hey, you know what? This is what I do. This is how I am. Blah, 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 blah. And that's it.
yeah, the whole time. I mean, he looked good too. I mean, his suit and stuff like that, the little shoes and stuff. He dressed up fly. And then I loved blue dress on
Meg.
Meg.
Yeah, Meg
gorgeous,
looks good.
matching her eyes. She looked
Yeah.
gorgeous. Yeah.
What's the name did look cute in that little pantsuit? What's the girl? Taylor. Right.
Okay, I can't remember what everybody else wore, but
Taylor was the one who got married. And then
Okay.
she had on like this little pants. It was
Yeah.
like not a pantsuit, but it was like it looks like an evening gown, but they were actually pants.
oh, okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, but the reunion was even boring too. I was like, oh, a dud, finishing it off with a dud. I don't know if I'm gonna be tuning in for next season unless they really do something to knock my socks off.
Okay. So there you have it. This is our recap of Love is Blind season Eight Love Is Blind.
Are you gonna be tuning in for next season?
Well, who knows? Maybe they'll spice it up. Maybe they'll hear the podcast and they'll spice it up a little bit. Maybe they'll give me a little bit difference. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's 8 seasons now, so season number 9, give us something special.
They ain't even replaced Nick Lachey and Vanessa after that whole where people were signing off. What you call it?
Petitioning?
Yeah, after the petition. So if you think they gonna change something up off of this podcast, I think we gonna be just dreaming. If the petition didn't do nothing, I don't think this podcast gonna do nothing for them to switch it up. I think it'll take for their views to drop.
Yeah.
So we gotta just stop watching.
Well, why don't we reach out to some of the people from all the old Love Is Blind and see what they say? Who knows? Somebody might get on the show. Maybe we'll get some of the cast who weren't on the television, but they were still casted. So anyhow, thank you. Another episode of How You Really Feel podcast. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Follow us on anywhere you get your podcast, TikTok and Instagram, How You Really Feel.
And check out our new dating shows. We're ripping this one apart because we're bringing you something fun and exciting, and we're bringing you some remakes of stuff that's already fun and exciting on social media. So check out. We're going to be doing new and doing some makes of some originals. So.
Yeah. So reach out if you want to be on the dating game. Reach out if you want to be on the dating show. Reach out if you want to look for love. Like, gave you all of our social media platforms. Reach out to us on any of those platforms and allow us some time to get back with you. So until next time. Okay. Let's see.